Cruising after 65? Unlock 10 hidden cruise perks seniors always miss. If you're 65 or older and you're cruising this year, congratulations. You're basically walking around with a backstage pass, and the cruise lines are hoping you never notice. They'll happily let you board with the crowds, wait in long lines, pay pointless fees, and struggle through tender chaos. All while they quietly hide the perks that were designed for you in the first place. Seniors get some of the best treatment at sea, if they ask. And that's the part the cruise lines hope slips your mind. Because the minute you mention the magic words senior accommodations, the staff suddenly find openings, shortcuts, early dining, and fully booked upgrades that somehow aren't fully booked anymore. Today, we're unlocking 10 hidden cruise perks seniors always miss, starting with the one that gets you past the crowds before they even start complaining. Number 1. Free priority boarding. No wheelchair required. Most seniors don't realize how powerful the phrase mobility considerations actually is. You don't need a cane. You don't need a letter from your doctor. You don't even need to limp a little for dramatic effect. The moment you mention that long walking distances or standing in lines isn't ideal for you, the cruise line has to shift you into the priority lane. This means skipping the chaos of families juggling luggage, children melting down because someone took their seat, and that one guy arguing with the check-in agent like he's negotiating a hostage deal. While everyone else is stuck in a slow-moving human traffic jam, you get escorted ahead calmly, comfortably, and legally, because they can't refuse senior assistance. And the best part? Staff don't question it. They don't argue. They don't interrogate you. They simply nod, write something on a clipboard like you're royalty, and suddenly you're boarding before half the ship has even found the end of the line. Number 2. Cabin upgrades. Here's the secret nobody under 65 ever gets told. Seniors don't ask for upgrades. They get moved for comfort. Big difference. If a younger cruiser walks up to guest services begging for a balcony, the staff smile, nod, and magically check the system, which always ends with, "Sorry, we're full." But a senior walks up and says, "This cabin isn't the best for my comfort or mobility." And suddenly the entire ship opens up like a real-life choose-your-own-adventure cabins that were sold out an hour ago. Available. Rooms closer to the elevators. Available. Something quieter, lower, more stable, or easier to access? Absolutely available. You're not demanding something fancy. You're requesting a cabin that actually works for you, which cruise lines take seriously because if a senior gets injured or uncomfortable, their problems become much bigger than your room number. And here's the funny part. You don't have to give a dramatic backstory. You don't need to explain that your left knee clicks or that your right knee only acts up when you walk uphill on a Tuesday. Just calmly tell them the cabin isn't ideal for comfort and watch how fast they find something better. Number 3. Free room service fees. Vanish the second you mention medication timing. Cruise lines love their little room service delivery fee. It's only a few dollars, but multiplied by thousands of passengers, it's basically their secret jackpot. Unless you're over 65. Then that fee mysteriously disappears the moment you mention medication. You don't need to give them your entire medical history or list every pill you've ever taken. You just explain that you need to eat at certain times because of medication. Or that standing in a buffet line at 7 a.m. surrounded by half-awake passengers coughing into the scrambled eggs isn't the safest option for you. Suddenly, the mandatory delivery fee becomes not so mandatory, and the staff never push back. They don't question it. They don't ask for a doctor's note. They just quietly mark your account with a little code that means free room service whenever you need it. Because the cruise line would rather comp a few meals than deal with a senior fainting in the hallway because breakfast took too long. It's one of the easiest perks to unlock, and almost nobody uses it. Number 4. Guaranteed early dining times. They swear are all booked up. If you've ever tried to get a 5 p.m. dining time on a cruise, you already know the routine. The staff sigh, they squint at the computer, they tap the keyboard like they're hacking into NASA. And then they say the same line every time. "Sorry, early dining is fully booked." Except, and this is the part they never advertise, it's not fully booked for seniors. If you're 65 or older and you mention senior dining accommodations, the system suddenly shows openings that didn't exist 20 seconds ago. You get the exact dining time you want, the table you want, the quieter section you want, the seat that doesn't rock every time someone walks past. You might even get a table closer to an exit so you don't have to do a marathon to the restroom halfway through dinner. Cruise lines hide this because if they announced it, every person over 65 would ask for it, and the dining room would turn into a stampede. But the perk is there, you just have to use the right wording. And the funniest part? Once they realize you're a senior asking for proper accommodations, they stop treating you like a passenger and start treating you like someone who could shut down their whole dining schedule with a single complaint email. Number 5. VIP shore excursion treatment without paying VIP prices. Shore excursions are where cruise lines make a fortune. and where passengers get treated like cattle being herded onto buses. But if you're 65 or older, you don't have to cram into the last seat next to a stranger eating tuna, or get dragged along on a leisurely walk that feels more like a military march. The moment you mention senior mobility considerations, the entire experience changes. Suddenly, you're not being pushed to the back of the line. You're being escorted to the front like some retired celebrity whose face they almost recognize. You get seated first, you get the calmer spot on the bus, you get extra time at stops, and you get help with uneven steps so you don't do that awkward, almost fall that ruins the rest of the day. And the cruise line absolutely knows seniors need this. They just don't shout it from the rooftops because if every eligible passenger asked for it, their whole schedule would collapse like a poorly built sandcastle. But you can ask, and you should. Because why on earth would you pay full price for an excursion only to spend half the tour hanging onto a handrail like it's a roller coaster? Number 6, free tender assistance. So you don't have to battle the chaos. Tender boats are the Wild West of cruising. People pushing, people panicking, people acting like the boat is leaving forever, even though it's literally coming back in 5 minutes. But seniors don't have to take part in that circus at all. If you're 65 or older, you can request tender assistance, which basically means you skip the chaos entirely. No lines, no shoving, no fighting for a seat like it's a musical chairs championship. A staff member will escort you onto the tender calmly, help you get seated without twisting anything important, and make sure you don't get trapped on the edge of a row between a backpack and someone's sweaty shoulder. And the best bit? Everyone else thinks this perk is some kind of mythical unicorn. They'll swear it doesn't exist. But the crew knows exactly what you're asking for as soon as you say, mobility consideration. Suddenly you're gliding onto the tender while the rest of the passengers are still arguing over whose turn it is to board. Number 7, secret priority elevators. So you're not stuck waiting forever. If you've ever stood in front of a cruise ship elevator during peak times, you know it's basically a social experiment. The doors open, it's packed tighter than a suitcase someone sat on, and everyone inside pretends they don't see the crowd outside. Then the doors close, and you wait, and wait, and wait. But seniors, you don't have to deal with that nonsense. If you're 65 or older and mention mobility needs, crew members can direct you to priority use elevators or assist you in bypassing the human wall of passengers who insist on taking the lift one floor. While everyone else is sweating, sighing, and debating whether the stairs will kill them, you're already halfway to lunch. This isn't some gold-plated VIP elevator with a velvet rope. It's simply cruise staff making sure seniors don't get stuck in a stairwell traffic jam. They know the crowds are brutal. They know the elevators fill up. And they'd much rather help you now than scrape you off a staircase later. Number 8, hidden future cruise discounts. They pretend don't exist. Ask a regular passenger about future cruise deals and they'll tell you the same sad story. You have to be platinum, diamond, sapphire, quadruple emerald level before they give you anything. Meanwhile, seniors are over here unlocking discounts without even realizing it. If you're 65 or older and you've needed any kind of assistance on your current cruise, dining accommodation, mobility help, room service timing, cabin comfort, you're often eligible for quiet, unpublished discounts on your next sailing. The cruise line won't announce it, because if they did, the desk would be packed with eager grandparents trying to book 10 more voyages. But when a senior asks, "Are there any accommodations or discounts available for future cruises?" the whole tone shifts. Staff check a different screen, a secret screen. The one with the deals that mysteriously don't show up for anyone under 65. Sometimes it's a percentage off. Sometimes it's a better cabin for the same price. Sometimes it's early access to repositioning cruises, the cheapest cruises in existence, before the general public even sees them. It's basically an age bonus, but the cruise lines will never call it that, because then everyone would use it. Number 9, faster guest services help, because nobody wants an upset senior. Guest services is usually a war zone. People complaining about missing luggage, Wi-Fi that refuses to cooperate, mysterious charges on their account, and whatever disaster happened in cabin 8274. The line moves slower than disembarkation day. But seniors barely wait at all. If you're 65 or older and you go up to guest services mentioning comfort concerns or mobility considerations, staff suddenly shift into fix this immediately mode. They know from experience that seniors don't suffer in silence. They write reviews, they call customer service, and they absolutely will follow up if something isn't handled. So instead of making you wait in a queue that looks like the line for a new iPhone, they usually pull you forward, tell another staff member to take over, or quietly solve your issue before the next passenger even realizes what just happened. It's not favoritism, it's damage control. An upset teenager will just pout. An upset senior will absolutely email corporate. Cruise lines know which one is scarier. Number 10, Special occasion freebies. They only give seniors who mention it. Here's a perk almost no one over 65 realizes they're allowed to claim. Cruise lines give seniors extra recognition for milestone moments. But only if you say the magic words. They're not going to run around the ship asking who's celebrating something. They wait for you to mention it. If you're cruising for a big birthday, a retirement trip, a long marriage, a recovery cruise after a tough year, or even your first ever solo trip at 65 plus, the staff suddenly unlock a whole different set of guest experience surprises. They won't promise it, but they absolutely do it. It might be a dessert delivered to your cabin with a handwritten card. It might be a complimentary specialty dinner because they want your celebration to feel special. It might even be a small onboard credit or a bottle of sparkling that magically appears with a note. They do this because seniors are the heart and soul of the cruise industry, loyal, consistent, and the most likely group to book again. But they never advertise it because the minute they do, every single person celebrating anything, "It's my cat's birthday back home," will start demanding freebies. Seniors just have to mention their celebration casually. And suddenly the cruise line turns into your personal party planner. And there you go. 10 senior perks cruise lines would rather keep buried under a pile of brochures and polite half answers. If you're 65 or older, you're not just another passenger in the crowd. You're someone with real advantages, real leverage, and a whole set of hidden benefits that younger cruisers don't even know exist. Use them. Ask for them. Enjoy them, because the cruise lines will never say, "Oh, by the way, you qualify for all this free stuff." They're hoping you board quietly, eat quietly, disembark quietly, and never realize you could have had priority service the entire time. But now you do. Let me know down below which perk surprised you the most, and have you ever actually used any of these on a cruise before? I read every comment, especially from my seniors who know all the real secrets of cruising.